All right, and we are live. All right, we are recording this on May 25th at 7:02 p.m. So, good evening, folks. My name is Akshay Krishnan, and we are back with the second episode of Krishnan College, featuring a very talented Princeton Tiger, Tarun Iyengar. Hey, Tarun, how's it going?
Hey Akshay, it's going well. Thank you for having me on. I'm really excited to be a part of this podcast.
Yeah, and we are super stoked and pumped to have you on. So, let's just get into it right away. So, just describe who you are, where you're from, what you study, and what's keeping you busy right now. And if you have time for it in your response, feel free to include some music that you're listening to right now.
Sure. So my name's Tarun. I'm from North Wales, Pennsylvania. I went to high school with Akshay. We're proud North Penn Knights for life now. And currently I study at Princeton University. I'm a rising junior. I'm studying as my major public policy, but for minors, I'm doing German and climate science. So it's a really interesting mix of different subjects that I'm taking on. And I really enjoyed my classes that I've had so far. And I'm really excited for junior and senior year where I get to do some more independent academic work and some more of my own research, and obviously senior year writing my own thesis. Um, this summer, what's keeping me busy is an internship with our county commissioners here in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. This was a really great opportunity brought to me through our Center for Civic Engagement at our university, the PACE Center. They have this program called PICS, which is all sorts of civic service internships. And I was really interested in doing one of them this summer. And it just happened that the county commissioner's office partnered with them. And it's been great ever since to apply and work with them this summer. So I'm looking forward to an incredible rest of the summer with them. And then for music, I have to say I've been listening to a lot of Steely Dan recently. Like I love Steely
Oh.
Dan so much. I don't know why suddenly I'm like listening to them so much. But you are gonna catch me listening to them all summer long. It's a Steely Dan summer, as far as I can tell.
Hashtag Steely Dan Summer. You heard it here first, folks, on Krishnan College. Yeah, dude. And thank you for touching on all the points so perfectly. It sounds like you're keeping busy and you're continuing that culture of excellence that started in North Penn High School. So I guess we can start from there, like from your time at North Penn High School. Like when did you think that like attending a prestigious university like Princeton became a real goal for you and not just a dream school?
Sure, that's a great question. I think reflecting on it now, I probably wasn't as focused on that at the start of high school, or especially like in the weeds of like 11th grade and like the start of senior year and the start of college applications. I was mostly trying to just work hard, give my best effort, get through my classes, enjoy my classes, and then somehow survive college applications. And I think as I was working on college applications, I that's when I started to seriously think like, oh, I'm going to be choosing a place for the next 4 years that is really going to set me up with connections for a career that going to really be interested in, love, and want to keep working at. It's going to set me up for something like law school if I choose to go down that route. And it also, so all those factors over time led me to apply to a bunch of great schools and apply to a lot of great schools in the area. And I ended up applying to a lot of schools in the Ivy League or T20 schools. But that was more towards the end of my college application process. And I wasn't really sure. It was more so like, you know what, I've worked hard. I've given my best at a bunch of schools that are more match schools or safety schools. And I was really happy with those applications. And it was like, I might as well take a chance. And my parents were definitely a big influence in saying, never, don't count yourself short. Apply, see what comes of it. Don't worry about like the low acceptance rate or other factors or other pressures. Just take a shot, enjoy the application. I think that really helped. And at that moment, and after I was accepted, that's when it really clicked that, man, I have an opportunity to go to a place like Princeton. And I'm really thankful to have that opportunity and been blessed to be there for the past 2 years and have met such great, incredible people and uh, have, have some great mentors, meet great faculty members. And it's been a blast so far. And I have a feeling it's going to be an incredible final 2 years there.
And I'm sure Princeton is super thrilled to have you as well. I mean, just seeing the things that you've been able to get involved with, like in your 2 years at Princeton so far. We're definitely going to dive into that more later. And you guys are going to be really excited to hear about some of the strides that Tharun has made since attending Princeton. So that's really cool. Um,
Thank
and
you.
and I really like the way that you explained your application process, like just like going out there and like yeah, and just taking the shot. Like if you're passionate about a program or like an area of study within a college, I think that that was a really good piece of advice. So in terms of taking that shot, a lot of the times when I speak to individuals, they struggle with figuring out how can I target the essay to a college, or when I'm explaining myself like in a common application or in a supplemental essay as a part of these colleges. How can I showcase my like true commitment to the program that I'm applying to? So I guess like did you use any specific tactics in your application to Princeton that you believe helped you like get in?
Sure. So I think one thing that jumps right off the bat for me in regard to my application is the like major or programs that I was interested in and I was writing about in my like why Princeton, but I believe it was like a why liberal arts essay that they have. And so I was initially going to apply as an economics major, and so I was focused on like, what does the economics department offer? And then I was thinking about like they're asking about liberal arts and 2 years now down the line after experiencing like what liberal arts actually is at Princeton, I feel like I can answer that question much better and articulate what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say much better. But I think in the moment, I was able to recognize that, hey, I might have been applying as an economics major to a bunch of pre other schools that I submitted applications for. But here, I can feel free to try something different or explain, yeah, I'm interested in economics, but I'm also interested in policy and law. And like, how do those different things come together? How have I experienced those things coming together in like internships or experiences that I've had in high school? And then if I'm coming to Princeton, how will those sort of things come together? And what programs can I associate with or research that's going on or initiatives that the university is sponsoring? So I think just connecting those three things, especially for them with the liberal arts essay, like why liberal arts? What makes so many topics in our world or something you're passionate about interdisciplinary or connected or requires you to tap into different fields or different skills? And second, why are you actually passionate about that field? Do you have a personal connection? Have you experienced that topic? Have you done research or an internship with it? And then third is like, how is Princeton actually going to make you realize what you can contribute to that topic or that area of study with an interdisciplinary lens. And so I feel like that was very helpful, and especially looking back in retrospect when trying to understand like why liberal arts, why do you want to come to like an institution like Princeton? There's many institutions like Princeton that really place an emphasis on the liberal arts, which is extremely important. And they also have, great engineering programs or great research programs. So just finding a way to tie that all in together and really creating your own unique angle and finding a way that the university can serve you. And that's really, I think, at its core. And I don't mean to yap too much about it. I think it's all about showing like why you could be a good fit, like how you would fill a niche or a need within the academic and social or cultural community within the university that you're applying to.
Like that right there is a golden piece of advice. I feel like the way that you like really tied everything together, like just to get across the point that it's important to showcase that like you've done your research essentially, right? Like
Mhm.
yeah, like you know the opportunities that are offered at the variety of places that you're applying to. And I think the way like that you explained that like yes, I'm interested in economics, but like I also have this passion for policy and for law. I think that like that connection is like really important, and like regardless of what schools people are applying to, like I think it's really important to just understand like the diversity of opportunity available in all of these programs. So I think that you perfectly explained that. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right. So, yeah, so I'm looking at your resume right now, and Yeah, like, and I see that like you have a huge commitment to civic focus, law, government, and community work, working together as as one unit to support like the communities that you're involved in. So, walk us through the Second Chance project. What does it actually feel like to sit across from someone navigating the Pearl system?
Yeah, so the Second Chance project was something I believe started last year, so my during my freshman year, but I wasn't involved with it. And then this fall, uh, I learned about this opportunity. I asked a friend, "Hey, do you want to get involved?" He's also interested in law. This is something maybe we can combine our passions on, something related to the public interest. And so we decided to work on it, and it was a really great program. It's run by the former public defender in New Jersey, and you get to work with like the and engage with the work that the public defenders are doing in the state and help like manage their caseload. And so the Second Chance Project really is helping people who are on parole supervision for life or on similar programs get off of those programs if they're eligible. And the eligibility criteria are really strict. And so it's a very narrow set of individuals who are eligible, but navigating that process can be difficult. And there are still numerous individuals who need that help. So we were able to step in as students, work with a client one on one or two on one in my case with my friend, and we were able to help them basically craft a narrative report about their life, which details their original conviction, but how they're taking steps in their life to move forward, whether that's economically in their job and their contributions to society, whether that's in religious life, volunteering, or any sort of community engagement, and really crafting a narrative that we could help submit in court. And that's exactly what we did. And our client was able to be removed from supervision. And that was a really rewarding feeling. And we're really grateful to be a part of his journey. And we're super excited to see him as he moves on from this stage of his life and is really free from this aspect of the criminal justice system. And it was overall really interesting to to have the perspective of both the public defenders like working on the case and doing this advocacy and writing the motion and submitting the motion in court for our client, but also the concerns of the prosecutors, the county prosecutors, the district attorneys, and which would be the prosecutors, and then also the judges in this case. Like, what sort of factors do they worry about or are concerned about when removing someone from parole? So it's great to consider both perspectives and understand and helped me understand, these are why the eligibility criteria in the first place are so strict. And it's great, regardless of whether I'm going to go into, working as a public defender in that side of public interest law, or I'm going to work as a prosecutor or potentially explore a career in the judiciary. I think this experience was super helpful to gain a perspective of all the parties involved, and in the end, it was really rewarding work to be a part of. And I'm again blessed to have met Joker Cora, who's the public defender who helped lead the project, and work with my friend Ben to really put some meaningful change into action.
Wow, like just hearing the impact that you've been able to make is really like inspiring. Like I bet it's inspiring for a lot of our audience too. So yeah. So thank you so much for sharing that. And like I know that experience must have taken like a lot of dedication and determination and like a lot of drive like from your end. So how were you able to effectively manage your daunting college schedule, of course, with it's some difficult majors and also a double minor, if I'm not mistaken, right? So
Yeah.
so how were you able to really combine combine that like academic workload and your passion for that, and then combine that with a large undertaking like a project like this, and how can other students learn from your experience and potentially balance those difficult events all at one time?
No, that's a great question, and I think that's a question I definitely ask myself each semester as I'm like evaluating my like course schedule and my different responsibilities. But for the Second Chance project, so this really took off last fall, so sophomore fall, and I think one thing that was really helpful, uh, especially like just at the start working with a partner on the project was really nice to have a friend. And I think the project is set up that way that two people are contributing to a common goal, and that always helps lighten the workload. I think clear communication with my partner was extremely helpful. Setting like internal deadlines. Hey, we should meet by this weekend and have this much done, or we should at least meet, have read the case together, brought up questions, have questions for the public defender. And so I think those things were really helpful, just setting internal deadlines. And those deadlines were obviously built around each of our schedules, and that was really helpful. But the communication also had to be clear and really proactive with our supervisor, the public defender, monitoring our program and who's actually submitting the brief in court on behalf of our client. So it was
Oh, wow.
important to stay connected with him, and also make sure the client is aware of different changes and different things happening with the progression of his case. So it was a little difficult at times to juggle everything and not to forget that you're working on a serious project that has real life consequences and can really shape the trajectory of our client's life. So being able to be proactive, set clear deadlines, use a calendar, space out work, figure out what weekends or what weeks you might be less busy. I think all of those things helped, and obviously it's much easier said than done sometimes.
Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, but I really think it made an impact in being able to manage the important work of this project, but also stay on top of schoolwork and other club commitments.
Yeah, I think that especially when you're working on a project that you know has a positive implication in society, like from what you said, it seems um like you can correct me if this isn't perfectly aligned, but I feel like when things have a positive implication or positive impact on society, then that motivation kind of becomes like intrinsic. And like you're motivated to come into the office every day and like to make sure that your calendar is all set and ready to
Mhm.
go. So it may seem daunting at first, but I would say like regardless of your field of study, it's like definitely possible to set aside time and like to really try your best to make an impact in your field of study, just like Thurman has so effectively done in his 2 years at Princeton. So it's genuinely awesome to see a fellow North Penn Knight making an impact like this in the community.
No, thank you, Akshay. And you said it, you really said it perfectly. Like the public service aspect of this project, or a civic service focused project, it really, like you said, it fosters some sort of intrinsic motivation where you're not really worried about the benefits for yourself or how this is going to look on your resume or how this affects your GPA. It sort of removes those things, and you're thinking, how can I make a difference in the community and improve someone's life, and how would that ripple throughout the community and have so many more positive benefits? And that's really really motivating to be a part of, and that helps drive a lot of my work and a lot of my passion for being involved in public service so much.
Yeah, I think that the part that you said about you're not just filling up your resume, I think that that really is an important piece of advice for our listeners who are maybe in the process of applying to college to
Mhm.
really take into account because especially as these universities get more and more competitive and the applications get longer and longer with more supplemental essays being added every year, something that can be really tempting is to just do resume filling. But but through my experience, I'm sure Tarun has had similar experience, like speaking to some of the staff at these colleges or some application readers, they can tell when you are not being genuine or just filling
Mhm.
your resume just to have a bullet point on a line or on the Common App and you just have a when you have a description with no substance. So I think it's really important to chase things that you're truly passionate about and it's better to have like a few things that you can really say that you went all in on than have a plethora of things and like not dive too deep into the subject. So Thurin, if you have anything to add with that, then
No,
love your input.
that's a great. Oh, yeah, no, that's a really great formula, like for understanding or approaching not only like college applications, but like a lot of things, even in college and like life beyond college, which I don't want to think about at all.
Yeah,
But
I
still,
know, right?
if we could make college this sort of grace period last forever,
I know,
um,
right?
yeah. But yeah, it's really helpful to like find, like you said, a couple things that you're passionate about, or even if it's one or two things that you're really passionate about, or know you can get deeply involved with in your community, and just find ways to give back. And it doesn't have to be, you know, high impact in the sense like you're reaching a national audience, or you're doing something with national implications, or it has a huge name or brand attached to it. It can be something that's like really localized and impactful for your community, even if you're coming from a smaller community, but it makes a real difference in people's lives. And I think if you articulate that much, uh, then admissions officers or anyone who's trying to get to know you and know your authentic self would be able to see like, hey, this person doesn't care about just doing an act of service. They care about, what the outcomes will be for the
Right.
people in their community, how they can most effectively work with people in their community, how can they learn from people in the community, because obviously service means a lot of, hey, I'm coming in to help you and take care of this task, but a lot of service too, as I've learned from like our civic engagement center, the PACE Center at our university, a lot of service is going to learn sometimes. Sometimes you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just show up and learn from people in your community and be present and be there for them. So all those ways of getting involved are just as impactful as doing something at like a national level or doing something that's like really high impact in that sense. So yeah, exactly like you said, Akshay, there's so many different ways of approaching it. And especially if you're trying to be genuine, like finding a couple things and really working at it are great ways of showing that, and great ways of having a meaningful impact at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. Great insights again, Tarun. Thank you so much. All right. So I saw this like tagline on your resume, and I'm actually like on a personal level, like just curious to hear more about it. So the term compost concierge, like now that's a great title, all right. But what does that job actually look like from day to day? I'm just curious.
Sure, and I'll preface by saying I didn't come up with that title. I think that title came with my
Okay.
job. It was assigned to me, and it is a really cool job. And I'm glad you're asking me about it, because it's really
Yes.
it's some of the most rewarding work that I've done, just alongside like the Second Chance project that been able to do
Yeah.
right on Princeton's campus. So basically, being a compost concierge, I work for the Office of Sustainability, and we have a composting operation called the Scrap Lab on our campus. So before a lot of the budget cuts hit the sustainability office and the university, we would run a operation where we compost coffee grounds from our student-run coffee shops around campus. From there was a graduate group in one of the centers for energy and the environment that would do composting. We'd collect their compost, and we have this student union called the First Campus Center, and people's who would order food there and get compostable utensils or boxes would we would collect that compost from Frist. And so that was a great operation. And my role is mainly just collecting the coffee club, which is our coffee student-run coffee shop, their coffee grounds this year. And so it's great. I drive a pickup truck around campus. I pick up the
Oh,
bins.
no way.
Yeah, it's a
That's
lot of fun.
awesome.
I give them new buckets to collect coffee grounds, and it's a really great way for me to just stop studying, take a break,
Mhm.
get a little bit active. Not
Very important.
yeah,
Very
the most important
yeah.
aspect, but also stay involved with sustainability in a meaningful and practical way on campus. And although our operation has slowed down, the total composting that we've been able to do this year has slowed down a little bit. It's still really rewarding to be a part of a mission supporting uh, my boss's initiative of the Scrap Lab, and helping further sustainability at Princeton. And it's always nice in the spring when you see like the grounds crew out around campus. They're planting new flowers or putting new mulch in, and you just think like, oh, our coffee grounds are keeping the next generation of flowers and plants around campus alive and healthy. So it's great to see, and it's great to be a part of.
Yeah, and Princeton's campus is absolutely beautiful. So it's really cool that you're able to be a part of that team that like helps keep it beautiful. So yes, that's definitely super cool. Now, you've had a bunch of these opportunities, like along with more, such as being a researcher for AI. And like you've also been a student adjudicator on like the discipline committee at Princeton. So how have you gone about getting all these opportunities? And what advice do you have for students in high school, like who first they step on campus and they're just looking to get involved, but it can seem overwhelming at first. So how did you take it step by step and like really figure out, okay, this is how I'm going to get involved in these topics?
Absolutely. And that's a great point because I remember having those exact same feelings at the start of college, and I wasn't really prepared for how overwhelming club applications and the amount of clubs, just the volume of clubs on campus were.
There's so
Um,
many, yeah.
yeah, and you can imagine yourself doing everything, but obviously it's just not realistic, and you have to figure out, what you prioritize. So I think as far as like clubs go, and this is sort of related to the committee on discipline that I'm a part of, and other student organizations I'm a part of on campus. I try to really think hard. What am I passionate about? What are things I've done in high school that I want to continue in college? What are some things that I want to try out in college? And so it takes a little bit of like writing out a list and reflecting on your personal values and your passions and your dreams, and also considering practically there's so many tryout processes and applications for these. How much time do I have, especially first couple weeks of classes? You don't want to fall behind. So it took a lot of reflection and thinking and making a spreadsheet just to stay organized and on top of things. But I ended up being able to learn from different clubs. Hey, we also have a spring recruitment cycle, and that was really helpful. It removed the pressure out of I need to apply for everything in the fall, or I need to get into everything for the fall. And so I was able to say, you know what, I'll push maybe those clubs off until the spring. And then focused on applying for a select number of clubs that I was passionate about. And I got to meet the members and I really had a good connection with them. And it ended up working out. I know for some of my other friends, they ended up not applying to so many clubs or not any clubs at all in their freshman fall and just took that fall to get adjusted, see
Yeah.
what was available on campus. And then on in the spring, they were able to hit the ground running, knowing exactly what they want to do, whether it's a cappella or a dance group that's hosting tryouts. They were able to navigate that quite easily. And having the experience of a semester under their belt, it was great to have. That's just another perfectly acceptable way of navigating a lot of the social and extracurricular pressures that can face you when you begin college. So I think that's also a really helpful strategy as well. And then to answer your question about like research, so in my experience, this AI research is completely unrelated to things that I'm studying and passionate about, except for the fact that it's related to the German department and
Yeah,
German
German.
language.
Yeah.
And so I was really interested in like getting involved more deeply with the German department. It's quite small, and I think this is one uh, key thing that a lot of students entering college can think about is like try to find if you're interested in a department and it's like quite small or it's has doesn't have as many majors or the faculty there's a lot of faculty but not as many students participating. That would be a great opportunity to take a class, get involved, and really build a great personal connection with a faculty member in a very natural manner, not in a transactional way, but in a really meaningful way that they recognize, hey, you're one of the few people on campus who's really interested in this subject, and you can tell them like I'm really interested in spending a lot of time here. And so that's sort of how it worked out for me in the German department. I did a study abroad program. I got to know the professor a little more. Um, he's great. He's one of the best like mentors and teachers I've had on campus. And then he just asked if we would be interested in participating in a program, this research program involving AI. And I thought, it'd be fun to learn the skills involved with this and build a little more German competency when I'm working on this project. So for me, I sort of got lucky in that sense. I didn't know he was working on a project, but I think the first part of what I was saying, if you have a chance to work with some of these smaller departments and engage with faculty, a lot of times if you just ask at that point, like, hey, I'm interested if you have research, I'm interested in gaining research experience, I'm interested in these fields. What do you suggest? Do you have any projects that I could potentially assist with? And being very open, that comes really naturally and it'll come really easily, especially once you've established a relationship. So I think for me, I got a little fortunate with my position and being involved with the research I was in. But I think it really helped that the German department's so small and they really care about getting students involved. And for that, I'm thankful for them and looking forward to staying involved with them for the rest of my time at college.
Wunderbar.
Sehr
Yeah.
gut.
Yes, awesome, dude. So, we're coming towards the end of our time of our time today. So, thank you so much for just all your insights. So, I guess just as a final wrap up conclusion, if there was one piece of advice that you could give to a high schooler that wants to do what you're doing, like they're like interested in the liberal arts at a top tier school, what advice would that be?
Wow, this one's a
Yeah,
tough
I know.
question.
I'm
It's a
putting you
good
on the
question.
spot a little bit.
It's a
I'm
good
putting you on the
question
spot a
though.
little bit.
Ooh, okay. So I think my piece of advice, and I think people hear this a lot, and it's really corny, and it's probably gonna fall on deaf ears. But I'll share it regardless. Is just to be yourself. I think a
That's
lot of
important. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of things we see online today, or like if you're scrolling Instagram Reels for a good couple of hours, you'll see like a lot of things that are like trends, or like if you're on like admissions counselor Reels or TikTok, you'll get like here's what not to do, here's what to do. But I think a lot of it, at some point, yes, it becomes a game and it devolves into like doing the right things or knowing the right people. But at the end of the day, sometimes things don't work out. And I think when they don't work out, you want to be left with experiences and a path that you followed that you can look back on and say, you know what? Hey, it might have not led me to the success or the goals or objectives I wanted to achieve, but at least, I was able to do something that brought me joy, or I was able to do something that brought others joy and that really made me happy or drove me. And it has to be true to yourself, like sticking true to yourself, your values, your interests. And especially if you don't have interests, this advice applies just as well, and with equal force for you, because that gives you a chance to be honest about not knowing about what you're interested in. So approaching the mindset of, or approaching anything with the mindset of, hey, I'm just going to be myself. Myself being someone who's not sure about what I'm interested. I'm going to try a bunch of different things, make an effort to explore, to reach out, to talk to people. I think that's really great for anyone trying to figure out what they're interested in life, but also especially if you are interested in a lot of things, or like for me in my case, like I was interested in law, economics, and policy, and I knew that broadly, uh, just to find different things that I'd be interested in. Like I could have done research, I could have tried to find internships at a more broader like state or national level regarding law and public policy when I was in high school. But I think really staying involved in my community was and doing internships and career exploration locally was really helpful. And that was really tied into the advice others had given me of just sticking true to myself. And one thing that was always really important to me was like staying connected with my community, and it's still like a really guiding force in my life today. So I think really, as much as everyone gives this advice and everyone says it, being true to yourself and taking time for self-reflection and making sure um, those ideas are what you prioritize, whether it's in college admissions or anything you do, is really helpful and critical. And no matter what the outcome is of whatever you're doing, you can look back and feel a sense of like satisfaction and proudness over what you've accomplished and what you've done for others.
You got great advice, my friend. Thank you so much.
No,
And
thank you, Akshay.
yeah, and thank you so much for coming on the second episode of Krishnan College. Feel free to follow Tarun on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
It's just Tarun Iyengar. And feel free to connect on the gram as well. I'm sure that like we would both be happy to help you. And Tarun is really a subject matter expert when it comes to liberal arts. So I'm sure he'd be happy to help out if there were any questions. All right, folks. Well, that about ends our time today. Thank you again, And everyone, Krishnan College out.